This is Laura with Potpourri of Life. Today I wasn't sure that I would come on here because I woke up and I couldn't function. I had a migraine. I still have that migraine. And it was so bad, I actually used a pharmaceutical med that helps because it got to the point of nausea. The reason I'm wearing the glasses because all this glare is hurting so bad. Now, I don't want you to feel bad for me because the reason that I am sharing this today, because normally I would not come on and for some people whine or for some people complain or for some people to just want to tell me to just get over it. I can understand where you might be coming from, more so if you don't understand with somebody who deals with chronic pain, Lyme, lupus. There's so many diseases out there that are considered invisible illnesses. We look great on the outside, and yet we feel not so good inside. All right, so chronic pain affects people physically, as you can imagine, but also emotionally. And part of that reason is because we want to do more. This morning I woke up and I had a bunch of things that I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to do that. I went to bed thinking, okay, this is what I'll do tomorrow. I have barely touched the surface. So this morning I said, okay, maybe I can make this better by just getting into the shower. Nope, that didn't work. So, and then a couple hours later, the nausea was coming over me. So, of course, I knew that the pain that I was feeling was another migraine. Now, I have not gotten a migraine in a long time, and I'm so grateful. So when they come on, I just don't want to be around anybody. Not my husband. I don't even want to talk to anybody on the phone. And yet when the phone rings, I generally am really nice on the phone. Or I simply don't answer because I can't deal with it. The lights are bothering me horribly right now that I want to cry. But I wanted to explain this theory, and I'm going to use some notes, so please forgive me for looking at them. This is a spoon theory. I have with me, and I'm sorry for the noise, I've got 12 spoons. Imagine that you were only given 12 spoons of energy every day. You don't think about how much energy you have when you feel fine, when you feel great. I know the days that I get up and I feel great. I just go. The spoon theory is far from my mind. But today it's not far at all. So I'm going to read this. The spoon theory was created by Christine Mesredino. I hope I didn't sabotage her name. She struggled to effectively communicate how she felt. She had lupus, so she had chronic pain. I've known people with lupus, and they do. You just don't understand their pain, but they're in miserable pain. But they want to socialize, but they can't socialize. The same thing happens with those of us with chronic pain, chronic fatigue, chronic Lyme. And mind you, even though I suffer from the latter three that I just mentioned, there's a vast number of other symptoms or situations that I deal with. So I'm going back to her, how she described it. She was at lunch, and maybe some of you have heard this story before. She was out having lunch with a friend. She wanted to explain to her friend how her pain was because her friend couldn't comprehend because she looked great. She looked great sitting there having lunch with her. So what she did was she gave her 12 spoons. Okay. She then asked her friend to describe each activity that she did that day. Each time her friend mentioned an activity that would take a toll on Christine, a spoon was taken back. As the spoons dwindle, her friend was able to see how daily routine activities that most people take for granted had an impact on her. So why do we use the spoon therapy? Well, the people that use it are people with chronic Lyme, chronic fatigue, lupus, chronic migraines. They have a list here: lupus, complex regional pain syndrome, chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, arthritis, depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, endometriosis, autism, leukemia. It doesn't list them all. The reason I'm getting emotional is because it's not just Lyme and not just chronic fatigue or not migraines and all that. When I get hit with a flare from the Lyme disease or just these symptoms, these things make me cry to even read them because it's that bad. Now again, I'm not asking for sympathy. What I'm asking for, maybe it's empathy, understanding what people are going through. Okay, so how is it used? Okay, this is just one way of doing it. I've got 12 spoons here. So getting out of bed, 1 spoon is used. And it's different for everybody. This morning, I may have used 2 spoons. I'm going to put 2 down. Taking a shower, I only used 1 spoon because I got in there and I had the optimism to think, okay, I'm going to be okay. So I had 1 spoon. I had to get dressed. I wanted something comfortable, something that didn't pull me down, yet just comfortable. Another spoon. It wasn't too bad because it was after my shower. Showers help me. I didn't cook breakfast. I made a cup of coffee. And normally I just go about my task to make a cup of coffee. No energy, no thought, no forethought, nothing. But it took 2 spoons, and I'll tell you why. First, I kept forgetting what I needed to do. So that's one of the 2 spoons. The second was I ran out of creamer, so I had to physically go downstairs to the refrigerator to get the creamer. My husband wasn't around, and I wanted that cup of coffee, so maybe I'm a little selfish and should have avoided that. But I didn't, because you know what? Whether we're not feeling good or whether we're feeling great, if we have things that can make our lives comfortable, then it's okay. So I've used 2 there. Traveling to and from work or school, I did no traveling today, so I didn't use any spoons, but some people might use 3. Both ways. 3 and 3 is 6. Completing tasks at work, at school, at our home. Today, I didn't do much in the garden. I wanted to. So what I did was I worked on the tomatoes. I just took 1 plant and I worked on that. So I was out there pruning and taking off dead leaves and taking off suckers and stuff. I was doing okay. So I'm going to say I used 1 spoon. And then I was helping my husband with the final details. We still have more details on the chicken coop. And I didn't have the patience. I didn't get angry at him. It's interesting, when I feel this way, I have no ill effects towards others. I just want to run and hide. I don't even have the energy to run. So I basically want to curl back up in bed. But I didn't because I wanted to be out in the fresh air. Fresh air can be good. So he was working on that. And I didn't get mad at him. But I couldn't work with him. So there's another spoon. Because I tried. And then lunchtime came along. I was hungry. And he was still busy outside, so I didn't want to bother him. whether he's home working or whatever. If he's not around, I don't like to bother him during these kind of things. So I'm taking 1 spoon. And then I wanted to get the sheets washed today. I try to wash them twice a week, and today I wanted to get them washed. So I had to strip the bed. I had to go downstairs and put them in the wash. That's 2 spoons. I have 1 spoon left. This spoon has not been, I need to borrow spoons for the next day. Because I had to go and get the laundry. But I couldn't. So I asked David if he would do it. And he did. He went and got the clothes. It was the sheets and a few other items. I still have this 1 spoon. So I did make lunch. Fortunately, I had leftovers. But the energy to put them all into a baking dish, to put them into the oven, there goes that spoon. That's 12 spoons. Now, we can borrow from the next day, but it's really difficult. So if I was to borrow from the next day, let's see, what else did I do? What I did was my husband was done with some of the things. So I went out and I wanted to move because some of our garden things are in totes. And there was one that I really, really wanted to get moved. And I asked him if he could move it. And so I had to help him. It was a heavy tote. It has some cucumbers in it. They're all over the place. Grateful for these cucumbers. So I had to help lift it up. I'm borrowing 2 spoons for that. So we're up to 14. I was so tired today. I tried taking a nap. I couldn't nap. Sometimes when I feel this way, I can crash and I can sleep for an hour or 2 and get rejuvenated and stuff. I couldn't get the nap I needed. There were no phone calls. My husband was busy doing some other things, so there was no interruption. And because I had told him, I said, "Hon, I need to go lay down and rest." I tried. I couldn't. So I didn't get rejuvenated. And then I knew that the weather was getting better outside, so I wanted to go out. And the chicks are in the chicken coop today. And we have a heat light in there. Actually, it's quite warm. It's like 60 degrees outside. It's like 70 degrees in their coop. It's really warm out there. So I went in and I sat with them. So I'm going to borrow 1 spoon to get in and out. And I sat there with the chickens because I want them to get used to me. They're already used to me. They know my voice. They know who I am. And to the point where they were crawling up on my leg, picking food out of my hands and stuff. Those are the things I try to do. I try to find something that takes away the pain or the emotion that's attached to the pain. So I was doing fine, but getting in and out of the coop was another spoon. And then I came in. It's 6 o'clock right now. I want to go to bed. I kind of scrolled on Facebook for a minute, and it was like, even that was exhausting. I'm not going to take a spoon for that because I need to avoid Facebook. You notice that I can laugh? You notice that I can cry. Talking about the pain, talking about how it feels is emotionally draining. I could still use more and more spoons, but already I've taken 4 spoons from tomorrow. I still have to, I had a late lunch. I probably won't eat anything for dinner. I'll probably ask Dave, let's just watch a movie. And we'll probably watch not a sad movie, not a scientific, but probably a comedy, romantic comedy or something like that. Or even Down Periscope. Why do I choose that? Every time I watch that movie, I am laughing. Laughter is healing. And so this is what I do to cope, to try to get out of it. Now, I ended up, because my naturopathic means to get rid of this migraine, an aspirin today did not cut it. The molasses did not cut it. The magnesium, all that stuff did not cut the migraine. So I ended up taking a pharmaceutical grade medication that helps also with the nausea. The nausea is gone, but the migraine is still there. Hence the glasses. I'm sharing this, and I actually didn't read as much as I thought. But I'm sharing this because chronic pain, chronic disease, anything that you can't see but the other person feels and experiences that they don't want to tell you about. At least for me, I want to spend time in a good way with other people. I don't want people to feel bad for me and then have them have a down day, because think about all the people who talk about Debbie Downer. We don't want to be that person. We want it, when we spend time with you, we want to have it be a good time for you as well as for ourselves. So sometimes people don't understand why I say no to getting together. That's one of the reasons. There's another reason that's kind of a little bit more personal. But it's hard. So tomorrow, if I've taken 4 today, that means I have 8 for tomorrow. But I do believe that God has a reason for everything. I do want to believe that my migraine will be gone tomorrow. I have been drinking water. Water helps. I know all the tricks of how to get rid of these feelings. The spoon theory is almost like the pain theory. Some people think it's a psychological disorder. God bless their souls. Maybe it is. I think when we just assume it's just psychological and we brush it off, you're doing that person worse harm than if you just kept silent. You don't have to understand. We're not upset that you don't understand. But part of the reason I wanted to do this video was to be able to explain how it feels. Now, do I feel lonely? No, I can't function right now. I'm having a hard time. But I felt it was really important to come here and share a little bit with you. I got to turn this off because that glare is bothering me. I know that some people will not understand this. That's okay. There's some things I don't understand. And that should be okay. Until we experience, it doesn't matter the disease, the invisible disease that nobody sees. Most people don't know about the pain I deal with. My pain hasn't been so bad except for the migraine today. But even when I have pain where I have a hard time walking, most people don't know just talking to me because I don't let on. They have to actually watch my gait. My husband's got used to it. He knows exactly when I'm having trouble. And I don't complain to my husband about many pain issues. He just knows. And today when I told him I had the migraine, because that's something I have to tell him, because as he was talking about things, or when he worked with his tools, they were too loud for me. Or when he turned on the light and I'm like, whoa. This is why I wear sunglasses. These are prescription glasses. And sometimes I wear them because I'm outside and I go in and I forget that I've had my other glasses. But today, I would not wear these on my channel if I didn't have the migraine going on. Does it help? It helps a little. This is just one thing that I deal with. Other people with invisible diseases, you might not know. And one thing I want to share is people who deal with these things, or at least for myself, I know others too, we want to be quiet. We want to be alone. Not because we don't like you, don't love you, or any of that. That has nothing to do with it at all. A hard time for me is if I have a doctor's appointment, I got to go in and be really nice, because not all the techs or whoever takes you in, takes your vitals and stuff, they don't always know or understand. Fortunately, I have a few doctors when I just say, it's a bad day. If I snap, or if I don't answer, if I have to think too long, please know this is what's going on, and I explain it to them. And that helps have a better communication. I do the same thing with my husband. If one of my daughters calls, I try to get through it, because sometimes they make me feel better. See, and it doesn't always happen, but most of the time, by the time I get off, it's like gaining spoons back. Not everybody can give spoons. And I'm saying this because my experience with some people, when they think they know that I'm not feeling well, they overcompensate. They tell me how to be better. They give me a list of Bible scriptures. I know what the Bible says. I have faith in God. My strength comes from Him. But God does not say we're not going to endure pain. God does not say we're not going to have a disease. He does say He will be with us. And that's what I keep my faith on. Now, I know that people have good intentions in wanting to be helpful. And there are some people, when I talk to them, they're like, my heart just opens up, and I'm joyful to be hearing from them, because they make me happy. Now, that might hurt other people's feelings, and it shouldn't, because we all have different personalities. But there are some people that are similar to me that know when you just need to be quiet and listen. And a lot of times, if I'm not feeling good, I don't want to focus on my pain. Even though, I might, I just want to lay on the couch, okay? But I know that if I spend tonight and watch Down Periscope, I think I need to watch that tonight. And there's some other movies that are quite comical for me. I need to do that, because being next to my husband and watching that is so rewarding. Going out into my garden today was work. And I love my garden. But it was work. And so I did the minimum. And there's a lot of work for me to do. Because yesterday I wasn't quite great either. But I didn't have the migraine. So I dabbled. And I think part of it was today was overcast. The air pressure was really low. And sure, I can blame it on that, because a lot of people will understand that. But is that the reason? We don't know. But people do have pain. And if you are pushy, they might snap. Not intentionally, but they could snap. And then you think they're a horrible person. We're not horrible people. Do you know I avoid places now? Because if somebody doesn't understand me, then I walk away. Because there's an assumption being played. And even safe places where you think that they would have compassion, there isn't always compassion there. So those of us that deal with pain and other issues where we're dealing with 12 spoons at the beginning of the day, and you're starting to see that anxiety is rising, or you're starting to see they're kind of crawling into their hole, or if you get in their face, Now, I don't go to the store when I'm like this. Nuh-uh. But it does make me very compassionate when I see somebody kind of like lose it. People are dealing with a lot of stuff today, and they don't even have an invisible disability. Or maybe they do. PTSD is one. This past 2 years. Now, I'm not saying this for people to go and see what kind of excuse they can make. But a lot of people don't understand what the spoon theory is all about. Hence the reason why I wanted to share a little bit. I think I mentioned it the other day. So I wanted to share it with you so that maybe you could better understand as well if you've never heard of it. So I'm going to end this video. But before I do, I'm going to ask you, please be compassionate. Please take a moment and ask yourself or tell yourself that, wow, maybe they're dealing with something. Maybe they could use a pick-me-up, like, how about a smile? How about a touch on the shoulder and say, hey, I care? Or any of that. See, when the world fell apart, we lost that skill. There's some people who still do this. But a lot of people don't know how to return to show love and compassion anymore. And so I'm asking you, I don't care what field you work in. I don't care if you're a mom. I don't care if you're a dad. I don't care if you're an electrician, a doctor, a nurse, or any of this. Because believe it or not, even medical personnel, not all of them, know about this theory, nor do they understand it. So take the time to look it up. Maybe mine was oversimplified, my explanation. But I felt it was a really good time to share it because I was experiencing it. And I hope from it you can learn, or you can have a little compassion, whatever. And I think I just repeated myself, and I'm sorry about that. But I believe that we can be better. We can love and care so much better than what we do. And I think a lot of times when I'm watching people, I'm not trying to be, how do I want to put the word? Sometimes I just watch people, and I can see that there's something going on in their lives. They don't have to tell me what it is, but I know. And sometimes I can figure it out long before they tell me what's going on. My husband and my daughters used to tell me, that's creepy. No, it's not creepy. It's just something that I've had to learn to do. I am fortunate. I have a strong faith in God. And He's brought me through it before, and I know He'll bring me through this again. I will probably take something a little stronger tonight. Unfortunately, a pharmaceutical. Actually, I have a herb that I can take. I didn't take it because I didn't want to sleep all day. So I may take that. I don't mix herbs and pharmaceuticals unless one's not working and I wait. And that's just it with herbs. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, just like medications. I do have to end this because the headache is getting worse. But know that I love you. If you're listening, please know and you have this issue, and it might not be chronic Lyme. Could be something totally different. And the list I shared, it's not a big list. But there's a lot of diseases out there that can have this kind of response. So, as I end, and try to come back anytime that you forget, or if you want to say, oh, gee, so save this video. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed, I keep forgetting to do this part. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps my channel. If you like this video, please do a thumbs up. I want to know that this particular video had an impact. And if it did, could you write a comment? And if you know somebody who is struggling like this, send them this video and ask them to watch. So I hope you all have a great night. And if you're feeling down, find a comedy. Something that'll take your mind off the world, your mind off your pain. And if it doesn't take your mind off it, take a soak in the tub or do some meditation and get a good night's rest. And if you have a partner, ask them to give you a massage. That can relieve a lot as well. God bless you. I hope you have a fabulous night.